Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We are on Chapter 4, Lesson 1, Estimate Quotients. You can use rounding and compatible numbers, which we use compatible numbers most in this chapter, to estimate quotients. Remember, quotients means answer to a division problem. When dividing by two-digit divisors, by estimating first, you can determine the reasonableness of your results. Let's begin. Here we have a school principal has 812 flyers to pass out equally to 19 different teachers. About how many flyers would each teacher receive? First thing you do is you take the divisor, which is this number right here, and you round that. That's going to round to 20. Then, on your little times table sheet, you look down the twos column and find out what's going to get along well with 20, or what's going to be compatible. And we're going to round 812 to 800 because I know the 8 is a little bit more compatible with 2. 800 divided by 20 and equals 40. And we can get that answer also by doing it with fact families. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 80 divided by 20 is 4 too, and the reason being is that you can cross off each of those zeros. And 800 divided by 20 is 40 because you can cross off 1 0 here, 1 0 here. Then you have 80 divided by 2, and then mentally in our head we can do that it is 40. So the teacher would receive about 40 flyers. Make sure I write that a little bit neater there. All right, next page. Number 1, round the divisor to the nearest 10. Now you can tell which one is the divisor by reading it out loud. It says, estimate 234 divided by 41. So if we were to bracket it up, it would look like this. And you can tell what is the divisor by what's going to go on the outside of the bracket. Let's begin. Let's round 41 to the nearest 10. Well, that's going to be closer to 40 than 50. Number 2, change the dividend to the number that's compatible. So look on your times table chart, look down the 4 category. What is a number that is going to be compatible with 4? You're going to see 24 is really compatible, and so we're going to say 240 because we need that extra 0. 240 is close to 234. Divide mentally because we've changed them into compatible numbers, so in our head we can mentally divide, and look, they both have a 0. Shortcut way, 24 divided by 4 is 6. So we have 234 divided by 41 is about 6. 6 times 40, when we use multiplication to check our answer, 6 times 4 is 24. Bring the 0 over, 240. And 240 is roughly close to 234. Remember that squiggly line means about. All right, let's move on to number 1 on guided practice, shall we? First thing we do is we estimate the divisor. Remember, the divisor is not that button, is right there. So 31 is going to be estimated, well, it's definitely closer to 30 than it is to 40. Now we round the dividend, which is that number, to the nearest 100. So 312 to the nearest 100, is it closer to 300 or to 400? Because they're saying the nearest 100. Yep, you're right. Then we have 300 divided by 30. Now, you can bracket it up like this and sit and figure it out, or you can just do the shortcut way and cross off zeros. There's 1 there, there's 1 there. So now we have 30 divided by 3, and I know that 3 divided by 3 is 1, and then you bring the 0 over. 10 is our answer. So our answer right there is going to be about 10. Next page. There we go. All right, number 2. Estimate by rounding. Show how you estimate it. Okay, so they want you to round to compatible numbers. First thing you round is the divisor. That's the first thing you do all the time. 42. Let's round that to the nearest 10. It is going to be closer to 40. What is compatible with 40? Look down the fours category, and you're going to see 12 is really close. So we have to round that to 120. Now we can do this in our head. Cross off a 0 right there. Then we have 12 divided by 4 is a beautiful number of 3. Let's work on number 3. We're going to round the divisor. And that dividend is pretty rounded as it is, because look what I can do. Cross off there. So then I have 40 divided by 2. Well, that's just cutting 40 straight in half. Not too bad, right? Number 4. First thing we do is round the divisor. That's going to be closer to 80 than 90. And looking down the 8s category, what's something that gets along really well with 8? Yep, you've got it. Add the 0 because we're rounding to the nearest 100 or the nearest 10 right there. Can cross off a 0 for the shortcut. Then we have 64 divided by 8 is 8. And that's our answer. I'm going to circle my answers. Number 5. Okay, now this is just bracketed up, but it's the same idea. First thing you do is you round that divisor. Is 28 closer to 20 or to 30? You're right. Now 597, something that's compatible with 3. Well, I know that if I round it up to 600, I know that the 6 and the 3 are compatible. I can cross off a 0. 60 divided by 3. Well, I know 6 divided by 3 is 2. Bring over the 0. I have 20 divided by 3. There's my answer. Number 6. Remember, do the divisor first. 38 is closer to 40 than it is to 30, so that's what we're going to round it to be. And looking down the 4s category, I can see that I can round 244 to 240. I can cross off a 0. Then I have 24 divided by 4 equals 6. Number 7. Again, do the divisor first. 24 can be rounded to 20. Whoop. Next, we need to do the divisor. 9. Look down the 2's category. Of course, our 2's category doesn't go this big. But I know that 20 is an even number, so if I make 940 even, because 943 is not very even, then I can do this. Don't worry, it gets a little tricky here, but don't worry. See the shortcut we can do? We can divide each by 2. Then we have 94 divided by 2. 2 will go into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the 4. 2 will go into 14, a beautiful 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14 is 0. So then my answer is going to be 43. Okay, now the instructions are estimate using compatible numbers. Show how you estimate it. Okay, so now on this one, we're still going to change both of the numbers to make sure they're compatible. First thing you do is the divisor. So 50 is close, excuse me, I love when I give you the answers. 52 is closer to 50 than it is to 60 or to 40. So if you look down the 5s category, what do you see that would work out well? Well, I'm going to actually go like this, 700. So we can cross off a 0 there, cross off a 0 there. So we have 70 divided by 5. 5 will go into 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 minus 7 is 2. Bring down the 0 is 20. Ooh, I know that goes into 4 times. And it will be a blank. So then I'm going to say equals 14. Number 9. Estimate the divisor first. Around the divisor, we'll have it as 50. Then we're going to do the dividend. And 200, let's see, 50 will work a lot better with 200. Cross off a 0 because then I have 20 divided by 5, and I can remember my multiplication. Remember, that's a beautiful 4. Number 10, we're going to estimate the divisor, rounded up to a 60, because it's closer to 60 than it is to 50. And looking down the 6th category, I can say that there's a 30 that will work really well. So 300 would work well. I can cross off a 0. 30 divided by 6 equals 5. Please show your work on this. If you just write down the answer, I'm going to get after you and have you watch the video over again to show your work. Again, on number 11, they have it bracketed up, so we need to estimate the divisor first. 32 is closer to 30. So now we're going to find the dividend, something that's compatible with 30. I know that 6 is really compatible with 3, but we need to change it to 600. Can cross off a 0. Then we have 60 divided by 3, which works out because I know 6 divided by 3 equals 2, and then I bring the 0 over. My answer is going to be 20. Okay, take that divisor and round it first. 40 is what I'll round out to and find a compatible number. 847, what can be compatible with 40? I know 8 is compatible with 4. Let's cross off the zeros. So now we have 80 divided by 4. I know 8 divided by 4 is 2. Then I've got to bring that extra 0 over. Draw a better arrow in the process. And my answer is 20. Number 13. Again, first thing we do, estimate the divisor. 34 is closer to 30 than to 40. And something that's compatible. 272. I know that 27 is compatible with 3. So bring that 0 down. And I can cross off a 0. And then I have 27 divided by 3 equals a 9. And that's it for that page, folks. Join me on the next one. There are 598 goldfish divided equally among 23 fish tanks. How many goldfish are in each tank? And notice it says about. Okay, so we need to estimate. First of all, the divisor, that's what that number is right there, 23. 23, when it's rounded, it's going to be 20. So now let's estimate the 598 and make it compatible. Something compatible with 20. 600 would be compatible because I can split that up a little easier. So again, they both have a 0. So now I have 60 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Bring that 0 over. 30. 30 what though? We have about 30 goldfish. Number 15. In an area of a triangle, 138 square meters, the length is 21 meters. About how many meters is the width? Okay, so we have a triangle here, and the total area is 138. And they said the length is 21 meters, that's the length, and they want to know the width. So they're pretty much just giving you some numbers to do a division problem with. We need to do 138 divided by 21, but it says about, so we need to estimate them. So estimating the divisor, which is the 21, we need to estimate that first. It would be 20. Now we find a compatible number. Looking down the 2's column, what would work well with 138? Maybe 140, because it's even. Then I can take off a 0. Then I have 14 divided by 2 equals 7. So 7 would be what my missing length is over here, 7. And I need to write down what it is I'm measuring, and I'm measuring meters. All right, number 10, brain builder. A box of cereal contains 340 grams of carbohydrates. there are 12 servings. If there are 12 servings, about, okay, we can estimate how many grams are there in one serving. Show 2 ways to estimate. Explain why our estimates are reasonable. All right, let's do this one step at a time. Let's estimate, shall we? First of all, the divisor. We're going to say that that is closer to 10 than it is to 20. So we're going to say 10. Now let's make our dividend compatible. 340, it's all right, but to mentally do it in my head, 300 would be a little bit easier to find a compatible number, because I can do that in my head really easy. I can cross off those zeros. 30 divided by 1 is 30 grams. Whoops, I don't need that last letter. All right, next thing it's asking is it wants to know if it's reasonable. Well, yeah, because 30 times 10 equals, write that little meter there, 300. Now I can do the squiggly lines, is about the same as 340, which is the original problem. Then they want me to show another way to estimate. Well, I can just do a little bit more precise measurement and do the original 340 and still do the 10, which is still estimating 12 to 10. And this would get me a little bit closer to the exact answer. I can cross off each of these zeros again, and 34 divided by 1 is going to equal, well, 34. And that would be a little more precise, and I know that, write the word gram, maybe. There we go. Then what you do is you just take that 34 and show that you can multiply it by the 10, and that equals 340, and that is equal to the 340 that's in the original problem. All right, number 17, which one doesn't belong? Remember, this is a brain builder, and it's kind of tricky because this whole lesson they've been having you go to the divisor and round it. So of course, naturally, we're going to think, well, gosh, that rounded up is going to be 60, right? So this one has got to be the most correct, where all of these are off just a little bit. But I want you to pay attention to the dividend. See how the dividend is 533? And these are all pretty close, except for that one. It's clear out of there in outer space. It's not really a very good estimate. So in reality, they want you to get to that step so you realize that one is the one that doesn't belong. And the answer being is that you're going to say the original dividend, the estimate is not reasonable. So I'm going to add number 18. Explain when it would be useful to estimate. Give an example. There's your answer. And when it asks you to give an example, don't go ahead and try to pull one out of thin air. Use any of these examples right here. So for example, I would probably use the 340, whoops, wrong, I guess it's not going to write there, 340 divided by 12. And I would change it to 300 divided by 10 is how I would do it. There you go. All right, join me on the homework.